Hey everyone, it's me. I'm back. I have all the parts, well, not all of them, but a lot of them up here on the bench, going over what I have. And I just figured I would take you guys through what parts I have and how they are going to be used. So, first thing I'll start with is the clutch disc. Very important. You need that. Without a clutch disc, you don't really have a clutch. That's the pressure plate. That is the nice new shiny multi-bolt pattern flywheel. This flywheel will accommodate either 10.5-inch or 11.5-inch pressure plates. So, well, not really pressure plate, it's the clutch disc. That is that size. Anyhow, we have a Z-bar. See, kind of looks like a Z. Huh. I wonder if that's why they named it a Z-bar. I got the dirty in there. I gotta do something about that. But it could be. It looks kind of like a Z. So that's a Z-bar. This is a clutch release rod that goes onto the end of the Z-bar. That will go down to, not down, that will go to the clutch pedal. This guy right here inside the car. I have a Z-bar frame tab. That's going to get welded to the frame. The automatic cars, I had said in my last post that they didn't get those. Only standard shift cars got them. They weld right to the frame rail, pretty much straight across from where the pivot ball mounts to the engine block. That will be the last thing that I install, most likely, because that engine, without the transmission being on the back of it and everything bolted to the cross member and all that good stuff, that engine could be leaning backwards or leaning forwards. The last thing that you want to do is weld that clutch, that Z-bar frame tab in the wrong spot, because it'll screw up everything. It'll screw up your geometry. It'll screw up the throw on the rod, and the rod that's going to be down by the clutch release fork. So, problem with this is that this is a fully detailed engine compartment, and nice shiny paint does not get along with nice hot weld and slag. So I'm going to have to be real careful. Hopefully I won't have to remove the inner wheel well to do it, but I will see pretty soon. So anyway, moving right along, here is the clutch release fork. Fork. Anyway, this is the pivot ball. Mounts into the bell housing, screws in right here. If you look on the other side, you can see, hey, there it is. So, this clutch release fork gets a throw-out bearing. Throw-out bearing is very important. Mounting is very important. See how it's mounted like that? Some guys mount it wrong, and it screws up your clutch release, and it can do damage to the throw-out bearing. And maybe the fork too it could screw up. But anyway, see, don't install it like that. That's wrong. You want to install it the way I had it a second ago, which I may or may not be able to get back in. Oh, yep, there it is. Okay, because this guy is going to go right onto the end of your input shaft, on your input shaft bearing retainer. It slides along. When you're pushing on here, this we got here, and get that there. Push against the clutch, release, and engage. Release, engage. Release, engage. Yeah, you get it. Anyway, so back to this, to our flywheel. Flywheel, I bought new ARP bolts for it. I don't really use the fastener assembly lubricant. Yeah, I know they tell you to, but I use red Loctite on that and a little bit on this. I don't go crazy with it. You can't put a ton on there. I've seen guys put a lot of it on there, and then it leaks out here and gets right here. You do not want red Loctite to get on the flywheel or on the clutch disc. It can cause all kinds of issues. So I use the Loctite on there. I torque the bolts down to the specified torque ratings. Yeah, I know, old school guys, or some guys say, You don't need to use a torque wrench on that, you know. But they say, well, just use impact guns in our day. Well, let me tell you how many of these I've broken. One I broke. It scared the crap out of me. I got the bolt out, thank God, but I will never use an impact gun again on bolts like this. I mean, ARP bolts, they're pretty darn tough. They probably would withstand using an impact bolt, but I think the torque rate is only like 30 foot-pounds. Inch-pounds? Inch-pounds? I don't know, some kind of 30 pounds. I'd have to look it up. Well, I can come right over here and, 5/16, 25 foot-pounds. That's nothing. So if you're wrenching on that thing, and actually this is a 3/8 bolt, I'm sorry, so it'll be 35 pounds. If you're on there putting more than 35 pounds on there, you could risk breaking it. So I broke a bolt inside of one of these once, and my heart almost jumped out of my chest because thank God it bottomed out and it snapped. It didn't stretch, so I was able to get a pick and just spin it out backwards. So anyway, I learned my lesson the hard way. I use a torque wrench and I torque it down to the specified torque rating, and that ensures that you have even pressure on all these bolts. I mean, to me, it's important to get this flywheel mounted with pressure even all the way across. If you got one of these bolts backs out of here, I'm not worried about the flywheel falling off. I'm worried about that bolt backing out into the clutch and ripping out one of these springs, or, you know, not engaging all the way, or blah, blah, blah. I'm sure you guys kind of get it. So that's the story with that stuff. So this guy here is your little clutch disc alignment tool. Very important little tool. Very helpful. This pilot bearing will be in the back of the crankshaft. So let's just pretend there's a crankshaft there. Okay, that's in the center. You take your clutch disc up on here like that, and these splines line up. You put that in there. It finds the throwout bearing, pilot bearing, centers your clutch disc on your flywheel. This way, when you put your pressure plate down on there and bolt this sucker, because once you're bolted down, you are not moving this. I mean, you might be able to if you put a pry bar in there or something like that, but you're not really going to be able to move this disc. Problem is, if you don't use this thing and your clutch disc is off, like, let's say, that much, you're not getting that tranny in there without a heck of a fight. This spline, this end has to go right into that right into that pilot bearing. Splines have to be lined up. This goes through the disc. If you don't line that up, the disc up, you might be able to bump it around and get it to move, but boy, it'll be a pain in the neck. So you're better off just using the tool they give you. I know in the past I've done clutches where I didn't have the tool, and I took a piece of broom handle, and kind of just ground it down close to the size of this, using the input shaft as a template, and I got the job done. But it's still not fun. It's a waste of time, and it's a lot of effort. I don't like using a lot of effort if I don't have to. So anywho, here's your bell housing, Pontiac specific bell housing, hence the bell housing bolt pattern, which is particular to Pontiac, I believe. Maybe old Buick. I don't know. This isn't either one of them, so I don't really care. Here's how the clutch release fork goes in. See the little tabs right there? That just clips right over the... almost dropped my phone. Over there, this goes in. Input shaft obviously goes through the center, and this guy moves back and forth like that. Also, Pontiac has driver's side mounted starter, unlike Chevy and others, and Ford and other ones that don't mount there, that mount there. So that's all I know about that. So we got that rod there. Another thing, instructions. Real men don't really need instructions, do we? But, and women, yeah, I don't know if, okay, anyway. So I just like to look at the pictures. I don't really read it. I pretend like I'm actually reading it, but I'm really just looking at the pictures, and you know, that's that. This thing, they keep giving me this stuff, and they keep teasing me, telling me, do not eat. I don't know. It looks like they put a treat in here for me. You know, this is hard work. I get hungry. I don't know why they say not to eat it, but I think I'm just going to pay attention to what they say and not eat it. You guys, you could try eating it. If you do try eating it, please let me know how it tasted. You know, and then maybe I'll have a nice little snack from McLeod. Anyhow, so we got that. We got our clutch, our flywheel, our pedals, that red thing. This is all McLeod, by the way. Good stuff, I think. That's what they tell me. But I've used it before, never had any issues with it. As long as it's installed properly, you shouldn't have any problems at all. And there's the transmission again. It's a little dirty. This is not a new unit, of course, as I don't think Muncie actually makes new ones anymore. It was rebuilt years ago. It's in good shape. I am very confident that this is going to work properly when I put it in, because the guy who I got it from told me it would. And if it doesn't, you know, I'll probably be upset and cry, and then the guy will feel really bad for me. So anyway, that's it. I think that's it for now. I was going to do some more work, but it's Friday night. It's like 8 and, I don't know, 8, 10 after 8. And I'm tired, so got the whole weekend. Anyway, hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and I didn't torture you too much with some useless information. And, you know, hopefully I sounded like I knew what I was talking about. And anyway, have a great Friday night, and I'll be talking to you probably, you know, sometime tomorrow. See ya.